Rahul, on a lighter note, I just wish the parliament was conducted by someone like you. Look at the way the last half an hour has been conducted by you. All disparate, different voices, but everyone has had their time to list out their grievances or opinions.
But I have to say, there's some very big news coming in, gentlemen. Very, very big news. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has tendered his resignation, viewers.
Oh.
He has tendered his resignation as we speak. This is a massive, massive development. I don't know last when such a step was taken. We're going to try and connect to Payal Mehta, but let me just read out what the Vice President said, because he's written a letter. This is very big. To prioritize, and he says, healthcare and abide by medical advice. I hereby resign as the Vice President of India, effective immediately in accordance with Article 67A of the Constitution. I extend my deepest gratitude to Your Excellency, the Honorable President of India, for her unwavering support and soothing, wonderful working relationship we maintained during my tenure. Big news, viewers. Very big news in the middle of this broadcast. I express my deep gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister and the esteemed Council of Ministers. Prime Minister's cooperation and support have been invaluable, and I have learned much during my time in office. Big news, and it's breaking now, full screen on your screens, viewers. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar has resigned. He's citing health reasons, medical advice for this. He's also expressing his thanks and unwavering loyalty to the President of India, saying that they have had the most brilliant working relationship. But he's also saying that he's deeply thankful for the invaluable experiences, insights he has gained as Vice President of our great democracy. It has been a privilege and satisfaction to witness and partake in India's remarkable economic progress, unprecedented exponential development during this significant period. Let me go across to Payal Mehta for more on this. Payal, health reasons prima facie being stated here by Vice President Dhankar. Can you elaborate a little bit on this coming out of really nowhere? What's the health exigency?
Rahul, the Vice President did suffer a health scare a couple of sessions ago, and he had to in fact go through a heart procedure and was admitted in hospital for quite a few days. That is prima facie the fact that he's stating today in terms of the reason for him stepping down. This is absolutely unprecedented given the fact that the Vice President still had about 2 years to go to complete his term as the Vice President of India before he moved on. But he in fact came in to fill in the shoes of Venkaiah Naidu, who was the former Vice President. As of now, he's expressing his great, admiration for the kind of, faith that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had imposed in him and, entrusted him with the responsibility. This is massive news coming in, and that too, after the first day of Parliament session. It's an ongoing session as well. We'll have to just wait and see how this goes on and who fills in as a replacement for him in the coming times. But this is coming in from nowhere. Although, Rahul, today the whole day there were a series of meetings that we saw in Parliament. The Prime Minister had an hour and a half long meeting with his senior cabinet ministers, followed by a series of meetings happening between, Rajnath Singh, Amit Shah, JP Nadda and all the senior leaders within the BJP.
Yeah, because Payal, apart from, of course, his roles and duties as a Vice President, this is the monsoon session is underway and he's the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So this is also a very important criticality. Not that others can't depute for him, but it leaves a massive void. Also, Payal, he has been playing, some would say, a very valuable role in defining the ethics on certain very important issues which are extremely germane to the future of our democracy.
Well, of course, the Vice President has not been shying on calling out leaders who actually, crossed the limit or probably jumped the gun. The Vice President has constantly kept his, remarks in the Parliament largely based on the Constitution and constitutional values. He's had a lot of run-ins with a lot of leaders within the opposition, especially from people from Bengal, who actually he's had a lot of, acrimony with in the past, also when he was the governor of West Bengal, from where he came to become the Vice President of India. But prima facie is citing his health reasons, and the Vice President, like I said, during a couple of sessions ago, in fact, had a health scare. But it is very interesting because just this morning, Rahul, I spotted him, taking a round of the Parliament premises before the start of the session, probably, looking at, whether every detailing was in place or not, or whether, everything was ready for the session to really begin. And it's going to be quite a situation given the fact that, you have the ongoing monsoon session of Parliament. this entire week is going to be extremely critical with the Prime Minister traveling overseas. Today they had to run in at the Business Advisory Committee meeting also, where the acrimony between the government and the opposition was very, very well witnessed. And they could not come to a conclusion in terms of what bill needs to be awarded what time. There was supposed to be another meeting at 4:30, which also I believe was left pretty inconclusive. So obviously, lots happening in Parliament, and there was a lot of build-up, with the fact that there were so many meetings happening today in Parliament, Rahul.
Well, just to stay on with me, we're going to try to get reactions. But Payal, and of course, we have some of our guests here with us. Pallavi also, of course, joining this broadcast. Pallavi Ghosh. Pallavi, Jagdeep Dhankar, some people in the opposition have gunned for him, as you know. There have been cheap skits that have been performed outside of Parliament by a TMC MP in the past. I think it was 2 sessions back, which created a huge shindig in the House. Jagdeep Dhankar speaking on certain very sensitive issues like judicial corruption and impropriety. He's talked about the future of India's democracy. He's talked about illegal infiltration. He's talked about several issues with regards to the importance of insulating our institutions from what is known as summary and reflexive criticism. So the man has been out there in the forefront, and now comes this unexpected and perhaps unprecedented resignation of a VP in the chair. I don't know, we'll have to investigate to see if this has happened in the past, but this is significant, isn't it?
Absolutely, Rahul, and look at the timing of it. First of all of us who have been following the proceedings of the House, we have been seeing that he has often complained of health problems, so health is a very strong ground on which he has resigned. But look at the timing. You're absolutely right. As the governor of West Bengal, he was always involved in a run-in as far as the Chief Minister of Bengal, Mamata Banerjee, is concerned. When he came over here, right from day one, the TMC versus Jagdeep Dhankar's spat was something which we would never ever miss. And Kalyan Banerjee, for example, a Trinamool Congress member of Parliament from Lok Sabha, mimicking him, that also came across as something which was unprecedented. And he would often talk about the fact, in fact, till yesterday itself, I remember he was actually coming out with the comment that, we need to have a kind of a bonhomie, whether it's about corruption in the judiciary, whether it is about getting along together. He, of course, has been one of the most articulate voices. Coming in from a humble background, an agricultural background, Jat family from Rajasthan, those were the credentials with which he was chosen. But I think the timing is very significant because just today there were many signatories, 145 of them, who signed the impeachment proceedings. He would have actually supervised that, and that is the reason why it becomes extremely important, the timing of Jagdeep Dhankar's exit as the Vice President of India.
Yes, the timing obviously is being pegged to health worries. Payal also there with us, and we also have Aman Sharma. We also have some of our political guests, so we're going to draw them in. But Aman, very quickly, you've been covering politics for a long while. You know that the Vice President has always pitched himself and not been shy of making his mind very, very volubly, in fact, clear on certain very, very dramatic issues, and has stirred the pot a little bit, if I might say. So this is a big void. He was the articulate face, really, of the two, whether it's the President and the Vice President. He was taking the lead on a large number of issues.
Well, Rahul, absolute very surprising announcement which has come from Mr. Dhankar today. And, I would trace this back to March when Mr. Dhankar was admitted to AIIMS for 3 days. It was related to, statement had said it was related to cardiac related ailments, and he was there at AIIMS for almost 3 days, but he had returned all hale and hearty. In fact, I remember meeting him recently at the book launch of Mr. Ram Madhav, where he was the chief guest, and he spoke on the stage, he stood on the stage, spoke for almost 35 to 40 minutes. He was very fit, he is still very fit, and of which he speaks his mind. But I think some health issues, and he says he's been given this health advice by doctors to step down from this post because of it demands also, Rahul, a lot, to sit in the Parliament all day and the Vice President duties. These are very significant duties, and that is why I think Mr. Dhankar has taken a very considered call based on his health condition, which has been advised to him by the doctors. And that said, I agree with you completely. This leaves a big void because, his presence in the Rajya Sabha and also as the Vice President of the country was very significant. He has passed his wisdom many a time while speaking from the chair given a piece of his mind to the opposition also many a time for them to let the House run. And he's been a big proponent, in fact, also of clean judiciary, and he's been making this point very, very relentlessly since the last 3
and
to
not
4
just
months.
that, I mean, he even sort of entered into the debate on the preamble, on the question of including secularism or not, etc.